Taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
All right, that is U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this week linking the use of Tylenol to autism. It's an announcement that created headlines around the world. Dr. Gorfinkel is here to talk this week's health headlines. And of course, we're going to begin with that. Health Canada, as you know, the other day pushed back on these claims, telling pregnant women to use Tylenol as directed. All right, here's your chance, Dr. Ivers.
My chance, and I appreciate it. Not only did he say that, he said women should fight like hell not to take it. And in saying that, he is pushing against the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists in Canada, and he's also pushing against its U.S. counterpart. And what he's totally ignoring is what happens if we do not treat fever. Maternal fever is associated with preterm labor. It's associated with lower birth weights. And what happens if we don't treat pain in pregnancy? And that has to be compared. And the fact is, it leads to sleep problems. It can lead to hypertension and preeclampsia in pregnancy. So this is the problem with the studies overall. There have been studies in the past that have made the link, but the authors are always very careful to say. But if that's because we are not looking at the potential harms of not treating those other things. So if somebody has a fever, that's going to cause harm. If somebody has pain, that's going to cause harm. And not treating those things causes serious harm. So yes, it remains the first choice in even the first trimester for women who are pregnant and want the best for their baby and for themselves.
You mentioned first trimester. You're saying throughout the pregnancy. Okay.
But first trimester, that's that holy period because that's when all the major organ systems are developing.
But you're still saying it's deemed safe for that time period as well.
First drug of choice. But of course, the main thing is if a woman is having pain, if she's having a fever, it's critical to understand why and diagnose the problem. And no mention was made of that. So when a woman has a fever in pregnancy, there is no such thing as a fever in pregnancy that is not significant and relevant, and it should always be checked. And same with uncertain pains. Like, you don't just take Tylenol, but Tylenol is important. It is important to relieve that pain.
All right, that's an important point to make there for sure. Meanwhile, the president is also making more news on the health front. We were just talking about this at the top of the show this morning. New tariffs announced yesterday, including on pharmaceuticals. What will this mean for us here in Canada?
Say the number. 100% tariff on patented drugs not made in the U.S. So this does not apply to generic drugs. Apparently, starting October 1st, there's going to be 100% tariff unless that company is digging and making a new plant to make drugs in the United States. What is wrong with this picture? Last I checked, the United States is paying the highest price in the world for its own pharmaceuticals. What's that going to do to the people there? And what's that going to do to our supply chains? Question mark? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Do we know, is this going to affect the supply of drugs coming into this country? Is it going to affect the price of drugs? Is it going to be more costly for us then?
Without a doubt, because many of our drugs do come from the United States, and then it's going to disrupt supply chains. Because right now, pharmaceuticals are not just made in one country. 80% of active pharmaceutical ingredients come from India and China. But that said, where's the packaging made, the little, the bottle, the insert, all of this stuff, just made in different places.
We also mentioned at the top of the show another new study that says there is no safe amount of alcohol when it comes to dementia.
Yeah, this is so interesting. So Oxford, Yale, and Cambridge get together, and they do a study that involves over 500,000 people. And they wanted to know, you hear in the news, well, 1 drink a day is good for you. Of course, Canada said, no, the maximum is 2 drinks per week. And what does this study find? 1 to 3 drinks per week is associated with a higher level of dementia. I said per week, not per day. Think about that. It's hardly anything. It's 15% rise in dementia with 1 to 3 drinks per week. It's a shocking finding, which pushes back against the current Canada health guidelines of how much we should be drinking alcohol. So it's really interesting. They found a dose-response relationship. The more alcohol a person drank, the higher the rates of dementia.
Okay. All right. Important information as always. Dr. Gorfinkel, appreciate you being here on a Friday, and have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.